welcome to another video by ODPBenj. Today we're going to be playing some Prison Architect. This is a very, well, I'd say old game, but also a very good game. So, fundamental is, build a prison, you manage it, you run it. Yeah, pretty simple. You've got to balance your finances, you've got to obviously build up your prisoner capacity and manage the security of the prison, and so on and so on. I'm not going to be using any DLCs for this playthrough, but yeah, we'll see how far we get, and yeah, carry on from there. So, accept first grant. Actually, let's close this first, and we'll go from there. So, first two grants you want to be doing: basic detention centre and the admin centre. So, the way I want to do it is gonna plan a path there, and I'm going to put two doors to get in. Now, I always like to put like a little reception area, if you will. So that'll be our little main reception area, and then I'm gonna have, let's see, corridor going down here, which will branch off into the main prison. I'm gonna have a corridor going down here, which will have all these little bits while we get started. And then finally, up here is going to be a staff corridor, and it's going to have like staff room, offices, all that sort of thing. So all our admin stuff is going to be up there. So first thing we want to do is plan out our offices. So we want those to be about 6 by 6. Pop that there. And that should be golden. So there's going to be a little corridor going down there. We want a staff room. And that'll be it for the sort of admin centre. And you might see me sometimes label rooms, so offices like this, and just put little letters in so that I can keep track of what's what. Then down here we're going to build so first thing we need is a holding cell. So I'm going to pop that about there. Need a shower, which I'll pop there. Canteen, kitchen, and then if I go ahead and cut that off and then pop fences there, there, and there. And I'll pop some barbed wire on top of the fence, and that should reduce the chances of escaping. Chances are this will all be repurposed. This will probably stay as staff corridor, but it'll get expanded up with the armory, the kennel, and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I just can't believe I've been playing this game for what, 10 years now? It's a long time. Shows how old I am, which is not very flattering. So we're now putting foundations down, so that's all the inside bits. And we're going to need to put some doors on. So I tend to put solitary doors on these just because they're very strong. I think this is the best way I can describe it. And it'll keep them in when they try to break out violently, may I add. So yeah, that should make that a bit easier. Now, whilst that's being built, and I'll speed time up, I'm going to go ahead. So we've got Safara Aknova as the warden, who essentially gives us more income in a way. So we'll get a small cut of the resale of each piece of contraband, and then on top of that, prisoners found with contraband will be fined from their savings. So the money that they earn from working will be fined. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is, if I prioritise building this side, and now I can get those offices built and start working on the admin centre grant. And I'm going to, just for the time being, expand deliveries up there, and then they can get cracking. In the meantime, I'm also going to hire 2 more workmen. It's not going to make massive impact, but should help. Yeah. So what I want to do with this prison is separate between all the different security levels. So this is going to be our main corridor. It goes all the way down. So it's going to come all the way down here. And this will be the main connection between all the areas. So we want the main areas that we want to do is, so if I go onto prisoners, doesn't show everything, great. None of these do, fantastic. So these are your standard, your minimum, medium, max. We will eventually make a supermax area, but that takes a lot of guard presence and stuff like that. And then I'm also going to change the intake time to in the middle of the night, just because that makes it easier for the guards to handle it when there's a lot of jobs that need doing. You can see here there's a lot of jobs for workmen at the moment because we don't have anyone else. So this is 4 of them. Legendary ones just come in as max or super max. Yeah. Now, oh, I forgot about generator. Oh well, we can add it in at some point. Now when it comes to other securities, you've also got protective and you've also got death row. Protective is just a normal bit of the prison. It runs like any other, just it's separated from the general population. So people that are like snitchers or ex-gang members, stuff like that, will end up in protective security. Just to keep them a little bit safer. I'm gonna pop some fence down here, and this will be the yard. I'm also going to pop some barbed wire on that when it's built. Now, where are we up to? So, officers. One there, and there. And the reason I've not constructed the walls or anything for this part is because I'm just going to copy and paste it, just to make it easier for us. So I'm going to pop that in, pop a filing cabinet, then pop, where is the fancy chair? There it is. And then I also want a staff door. And that should complete the office. And then let's hire a warden. And then we're going to get them started on bureaucracy sort of things. So, first thing we need is to unlock finance and hire an accountant. So, having an accountant allows us to spend more than our income, which doesn't take much at the moment. But there's also a few different areas you can go with bureaucracy. So, finance, you've got your land expansion, grants, bank loans, tax relief, all that stuff. Maintenance, you've got prison labour, cleaning, groundskeeping, forestry. Legally, you've got death row stuff, you've got small cells, different little bits like that. Legal prep, just in case we come into any problems. Education, health, psychology, all that stuff. And then security, there's a lot that it covers. So things like CCTV, dogs, armoury, tasers, that sort of stuff. But we'll get more into that as we go on. So, now that that's built, we can go ahead and click custom, clone, and copy that, paste it there, 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 and there. And you can see they're slowly building up the walls where they're meant to be, hence why I didn't build them sooner. We'll get rid of that bit there and that bit there. And we also want a wall there, door, staff door, rooms, and then we want, where is it? I've gone blind. Staff room. So, staff room allows staff to, well, rest like any other staff room. Doesn't have many requirements, however, we've got staff needs on, which means that they'll end up getting, well, pissed off very easily, and they've got needs. Pop that there, drinks machine, snack machine, snack machine, water cooler, pop a coffee machine in, we'll pop a little wooden table in the corner. Allows them to rest, but see, you can see they're pissed off. It just flower says it. We've finished finance, so let's hire an accountant. And that's that grant done. We've got £5,000. Now, what I'm also going to do is pop that there, pop a standard door. I want to pop in a, where is it? Oh, there it is, toilet. I'll pop that there, and I'm also going to pop a serving table up there. As much as we don't have a water pump or anything like that at the moment. But if I pop that there for now, water, I'll pop pump station up there. And now it gives you a free capacitor, but they're not as good as the capacitor max plus. This does double what the normal capacitor does. So it's a lot more efficient. Costs more upfront, but then we want to put our wiring in. Just like that. And then we can start working on the basic detention centre. So look what else we got. Nothing interesting there. So we want brick wall there, going on there, That coming along to there, that there, that there, that coming along there. That coming along there. So, plan is canteen there, kitchen here. We want a shower room there. We want a holding cell up here. And then this will be the yard. Which I'm yet to add a door on. Just gonna go large white door because it's a mixed sort of. Then, whew, it's quite warm today. Pop that there, that there, that there. So the yard's pretty simple, it just needs to be secured and outside. But obviously you can upgrade it by adding more things into the room. Now, for the kitchen, we need to pop these in. So these are fridges. Then we also need to pop cookers. And then we also need sink there and there. And then I'm also going to pop in a recycling bin there. And all that needs power or water. So we shall get that working. The other thing I like to pop in for kitchens, canteens and all that stuff are sprinklers, because they are a fire risk. So I'll pop them like that. We've got the barbed wire, so I'll pop that going along there. Like that. So they can't escape. Now where am I up to? Water. Get large pipe, get that coming through. Coming down to here. So the large pipe can carry water as far as you need it to. However, small pipes have a certain limit on them. Hence why you can see I'm trying to connect it to the large pipe every now and then to keep that connection going. I also need to power the pump, which would be beneficial. And then we'll get water running through. Now, shower, very simple. You just need shower heads. And then 2 drains there to save money on instead of putting them all over the floor. The canteen, pretty simple again. So, want at least 1 serving table, which we can do. And then we'll pop a table out. So bench, 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 table, bench. Not confusing at all. And then you can get a higher level, so improve the grade of it by adding little things like this. We'll pop that in. Trying to keep them as happy as possible. And pop some windows in. Holding cell only really needs a bench and toilets. So pop the bench there, pop some toilets just here, but I'm going to pop some bunk beds in because we need to keep them happy. I'm also going to pop some phone booths in. I'm going to pop a window in there and there. I'm going to give them soft pillows because I'd much prefer they do it right. Yeah. Also pop in TV, radio, pool table. Try and keep them busy. Yeah, just connect it up. Connect that like that. And like that. Where is... So bring that pipe up there, pop that in there, and then the staff have a toilet. Then all I need to do is hire 2 guards, 2 cooks, and then that's that one done. So how many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So max I can get is 20. But I'm going to keep it relatively simple for now. I'm going to take... Could do with the money really. Take 15 and we'll go from there. I'm only taking medium and minimum. Although taking all... Yeah, I'll take mainly minimum. And then we'll go from there. Now we've unlocked a lot more grants from doing those 2. So we, yeah, have a lot. So I want to do prison maintenance and that's it for now. So I want to unlock maintenance first on the bureaucracy screen and go from there. Just follow that down. But once we've got that, we need to hire a foreman so that he can research cleaning and the groundskeeping. So while we're waiting on that, we'll go ahead and mark this as a reception. Put that there and that there. Forgot to put some doors in. Staff door there. Sorcery door there. So there's plenty of prisoners there. So I'm going to pop a couple of these in here. Some of those. Pop one of those in. Yeah, that looks good. That should help a bit with keeping them calm and happy. But we'll see. Everything seems to be running generally alright so far, so touch wood. So eventually some of these officers will get moved. So the foreman, I want him to be based near workshops. And then psychologists, I want them based in the main blocks, working with the prisoners to yeah, improve them a bit, fix whatever's going on. See, right now we're not looking to rehab people or anything, we're just literally here to hold them. That's it. Once we get the blocks going and that sort of stuff, it'll be easier to focus on the rehab part of it, but until then, yeah. Get the warden researching security, get everyone busy and doing things. Just need one gardener. Chances are I might put deliveries up here at some point, and exports and all that stuff, so it all comes out of that one bit, and then have like a warehousey bit for storage up there. Not an awful idea, maybe not the best, I don't know, we'll find out. So, we'll get a basic federal grant and then we'll get the prisoner grant. Prisoner grant is based on the amount of prisoners that we're holding. The federal one doesn't change. So to increase our profits we need to increase the amount of prisoners as well as exports and all that sort of stuff. Now let's have a look. We need to hire 2 janitors because this place is messy. So, I think I'm going to focus on minimum first because we can have that as a sort of fast turnover area, if you will, and it doesn't matter if they're too close to the front as much, whereas medium and maximum and supermax, all that stuff, you don't really want them too close to the exits. But minimum shouldn't be too bad. So we need to plan out what we're going to do. Oh, pardon me. Long day. So everything seems to be functioning pretty well so far. There's plenty of food there. Everything's slowly getting cleaned up by the janitors, which is nice. It's looking a lot fresher. There we go, they're working on the hoodies. I've got fog of war on, which means if a guard isn't in there, you can't see it, which makes it a lot more difficult for knowing what your prisoners are up to. But what we're going to do is a quick shakedown. And I'm also going to hire another guard or two. In fact, we'll make it so we've got 5 guards. Now, something I've not done yet, which I do need to do, and I shall do, is solitary. So what I'm going to do quickly is build a temporary solitary cell just here, because there's no requirements for it. It just needs to be enclosed. That means anyone who needs it can, well, get it, I guess. I'm going to sell the capacitor because we're not going to be using that. Is there no lights up there? There's no lights in the room. Okay. So let's pop like there. Pop one in there as well. Pop some lights in the corridor because apparently there's none there either. There we go, that's looking a lot better. Crack him. Got 5 more prisoners coming. Once it reaches 2 AM and then it'll be us full. Unless we have more bunk beds. But I'm not in a rush to just collecting all the dirty trays and storing them in the sink. Making the meals for the morning. And yeah. There we are, the prisoners are here. Get you working on that. We'll have a look at you. We're going to hire you. I've noticed that the trays in the staff room just sit there. I don't know why. I'm just gonna dump them all. Let's have a look. So what I usually do to begin with is I just take a small $500 loan, and that gets your credit rating up, and then your max increases from 2,500 up to 250,000, so that when you do actually need it, you know, you can get it. It's only $25 a day to have that. Now, there we go, that's another 10 grand. That was easy. Now, we have too many prisoners in our holding cells. I'm well aware. Believe me. Might need to hire some more cooks. So they seem to mainly be complaining about clothing and sleep. So I could go ahead, pop some more sleep there. Sleep there. Instead of local, we'll just put free time on. Just to keep them busy. We'll get researching all of those, get that in the way. Dirty trays are still piling up. Smashing. So, what I want to do, to build a cell block for minimum, but I just don't know how big I need to have it. But I'll probably do that another time. So we've built our basic detention centre. We've got 20 prisoners in, and we're maintaining it with everyone being generally happy apart from the staff. No riots as of yet, which is always good. And yeah, it's functioning pretty well. We've got positive cash flow, so can't complain overall. Yeah. So between now and the next episode, chances are I'll plan out this cell block and then I'll walk you through it when I'm back. But apart from that, thank you for watching, and yeah, take care. Goodbye.